Just building a. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hosford's Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hosford's.
Hey kids, it's chubby time! I have to go to school and learn and play with my friends too. Every day is fun day, cause I love my chubby chubby. Chubby, 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 chubby. Lots of flavors for me to choose. Every day they keep me cool. It fits my handmade just for me. Everybody loves chubby. Chubby, 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 chubby. Every day is fun day. Chubby.
A pleasant good morning to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, to the regional and international diaspora. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to today's edition of Island Tea. It is the 18th day of the second month of the year. That's February 2026. The time just about 8 minutes after the hour of 8. Just to remind you, we're on your FM dial at 98.9. We're being simulcast on TVC, Channel 40, Facebook, as well as YouTube. If you wish to bring something present to the fore, join in on the conversation. Our local number, 466-0989. In the U.S., 1718-285-6984. In the U.K., 0333440065. And remember, if you wish to advertise with us, our sales office number is 466 9586. Firstly, I would like to send condolences to the Stevens family. They are in Old Road on your loss, and to any other families that would have lost a loved one. We, on behalf of us here at WinFM, we send our condolences. Um, the young lady was a great colleague of mine. She was into fashion. When we had Queen shows, if we didn't attend, we would be we would be watching, and we would also be speaking to each other via WhatsApp on what we think was great, what wasn't great, who we have in the running, and any other little topic that we had. She had a passion for fashion, decorating, and I know she loved her family. So once again, sympathies, empathies. I will choose to remember the good times, and in time we'll see each other on the other side. So sympathies to that family and to any other family that may be suffering from the loss of a loved one today. For those of you celebrating, remember life is short. Celebrate, enjoy, but just remember to be kind to yourself and those around you. Quint, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. And you?
I am trying to be plenty better than yesterday. And as I was telling someone when I got the bad news yesterday, the last time I spoke to her was January month end. But you know, you message people sometimes and they don't get back to you. And because I know what I know, I just give it time. But yeah, life is short and we just.
I don't know who the young lady is, but I know last evening a young DJ was here and he perhaps got the news when he was right sitting down just about here, and then I heard him say to Flames, to DJ Flames, "Wow, I can't believe and so and so is dead," and he kept repeating it.
Yeah, because it's shock. That's the last thing I was expecting
Yeah.
to hear. So I'll just keep her family and kids in prayer. You wake up every day and you just think, a lot of us think we have time, and we really don't have time.
So she just died, up and died.
No.
Okay.
There's a prelude to all of it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but we really don't have time. We just have to live.
Yeah. Well,
lovingly.
we also have to be mindful of the family, and
Yeah.
we don't want to open their
Yeah,
wounds.
exactly.
Yeah. So we have a caller.
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island Sea. Good morning.
Good rising, guys.
Good day.
Guys, this morning I want us to have a look at the world we're living in today. Now, I've been doing some analysis on the world as it is today, as per the world as it was created by the Most High. Now, follow me, guys. Let us look at the animal world, the animal kingdom, the world of animal, birds, and all the fishes of the ocean. They are all free. They are free. They have liberty to go as creation, as they was created by the Most High, to be free, to have liberty. But we as the image of the Creator, according to the text, we have borders, we are in bondage. So let us look at the world as it was created, as per what man told us the world should be. What do I mean by this? Those that claim that they were wholly inspired to give us a benchmark of what God says it should be. Those who claim that God spoke to them, this God, the biblical God I'm referring to, guys, who asked Moses to come up into the mountain of the Mount Sinai to give Moses 10 commandments inscribed on a tablets of stone, but left the benchmark of how humanity should go for man to write. God that wrote on a stone gave Moses 10 commandments, but leaves the benchmark of humanity for humanity to be written by men. Now, for those who say that the Bible is the infallible word of God, this is not the word of the Creator. Nature is the word of the Creator. Let me repeat this. Nature is the word of the Creator. Now, we have those that says, and I'm referring to the Bible that we have, most of us, the King James Version. Now, when we look at the writers that claim they were wholly inspired, look at their footprint on this earth. They gave us this Bible as a benchmark, and in it they said this here and this there. This biblical God that says, I hate this and I hate that. I create the good and I create the bad. Now these quotes and texts that is in the book, they are not just surface, they're very deep. There might be symbolic because we have duality, love and hate, up and down, in and out, white and black. We are in a world of duality in as much as we know that the world is diverse. It is a diverse world that we're in. But we narrow down to duality, black or white. And when you look at everything in this book, now let's go back to what the book refers to as heaven, and all the characters that is in heaven. They're all male and they're all white. When you look at the deity now, the devil, the deity is black, and we represent black. So we represent the devil. They have flipped the script on us, and they gave us religion as a pacifying tool to keep us humble with our anger to justify their wickedness that they have done to us. Guys, this is why Journey is saying that the biblical God is not the Creator. The Creator is of everlasting and eternal life. Everlasting and eternal life. And that is who we are. Because if Hortensia and Quint, if you are to analyze what Europeans been doing to Africans, and we are still on this planet, and today they are on their way. They are on their way. And they know this because they have an expiry date. They have an expiry date, guys. But look at us. We are going along with them, and we are not seeing the bigger picture. 400 years of bondage. But when we look at that, we are seeing a people and a place and a time as it's written in the Bible, and not seeing this is us. COVID-19 was the year of return for Africans in the diaspora and the Caribbean to return. And I'm not saying that we should give up the Caribbean to go back to the continent. But look at them. They are on the continent, as they claim, to fight jihadists with their boots, their military boots. But they are keeping us away from. They are keeping us away from what is our inheritance.
Are they keeping us? Are they keeping us away, or are we keeping us ourselves? Yes, they are to some extent, but we're accommodating them. And
yes,
I keep saying to you, Journey, that, and you might take it sometime not in a good way. But when you come, you're saying the same thing. If you need to go back and listen to. There's so much happening, and I know that you do some research. I want you, as I often say to Greg, to tie it into what is happening presently, so that we can see a picture of there, then, and now. For instance, Marco Rubio was in Germany. I listened to a speech he made in Germany, and Marco Rubio blatantly is saying that he wants Europe and the West. If he didn't say the West 50 times in that statement, everything is the West, the West. The West must be great, and we do not have any apologies to make for the Middle Passage. And he's praising Columbus, and he says the Middle Passage brought us prosperity, and we need to go back to those good old days. You understand what the man is saying? And these are things I'm saying, Journey. If you want to push your story, stop just going. The Bible has been here from then. Now and again, I entertain my man, but I don't want to let us stay on the Bible, 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 because those who want to believe it will believe it. Let us see what. I don't have a problem with you repeating certain things, but let us see. You repeat certain things to make a point that is relevant to know. Also, there's a communique that just came out of Africa that this thing that they're offering to the Caribbean, that our leaders have been telling us that they're negotiating and they haven't come to an agreement. Most likely they're lying to us because they have already accepted money. They got the monies up front. They have been approached, and all of the people that they're sending to them are criminals. And the bigger the criminal you are, the bigger money you get. Imagine one place in Africa is getting 7 people, 7 of these criminals, and each one of these criminals is valued at $1.something million. These are things I want our people to know. And this will strengthen your point.
Quinn, you see now why I quote the Bible, right? What I want our people to recognize that the biblical God is a God of death. This God has ordered to kill. This God has killed. Now, when we look at the characteristic of the biblical God and we look at them today, is it any different? Because the biblical God said, "Go and kill these people and take their spoil and claim their land," and that was approved by the biblical God. Look at what Trump did to Venezuela and Maduro. And then we have Tucker Carlson questioning these 3 African presidents in Dubai as if to find out if they're going to humble and become fearful. And these are the things that I am trying to bring, Quinn. And yes, I take what you're saying, but there are times that we need to repeat.
But with all due yes, but with all due respect, like I said, I don't mind you repeating. But if you had said, look at it, the Bible says that you're supposed to do so, and look at what they're doing, and bring examples of what they're doing presently, so that we become aware of what is happening. And right now, I am aware, and go and research it yourself. This came out of the United States of America. This is not fake news. It was released. You see the figures that the countries are getting. You see the amount of prisoners they're getting, and everything is there. And you understand the money has been paid up front. So when the Caribbean leaders are telling us that they're negotiating and they're going to see if they're going to agree, they have already accepted monies.
Yeah, that is true, Quinn. But you see, the thing is now,
why is it that they feel they have to lie to us all the time?
Yeah, and you see, our leaders, our politicians now, when they meet with these foreign powers and, in the United Nations and they make deals, instead of accepting, they're not even saying, well, let me think about it and we'll get back to you. They don't say these things. They accept it, and then they come and they tell us this. They don't even sometimes tell us. We have to hear through it. We hear about it through some kind of whisper, or, as we said, to the grapevines. They act as if we're stupid. But
this story with the prisoners, it broke. I don't remember how it broke, but it broke, and then we heard the one from Antigua come and say something. Then we heard some others come and say something, and they say in a kind of a trying to soften the information. Well, we still haven't signed off. We still have but now we're hearing something coming out, released by the Democrats from Congress, that shows you that this is a complete deal. And you understand, if a country, if Trump is sending to you criminals, that one of them is valued at $1.something million, you understand? If he's doing that, you understand what they intend to do. I keep saying their intent is to undermine us over time. And we as a Caribbean people are sitting down here and casually in our comfort level and do not understand that things like the SSZ, it's not coming out of nowhere. It is a plotted intent. Man.
No, Quinn, you may or may not know, look at Nigeria right now. for the last 30 days, military plane been in and out of Nigeria. And when Trump is claiming that he's there to fight for the Christians that are being slaughtered, the agenda is to get closer to the Sahel region. And the president of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, it's almost as if, you know, when I look at nature, right, there is this wasp. It's a jewel wasp, Quint. Potential. Google the jewel wasp and you see what it do. It paralyzes a cockroach and it lead it into a burrow. The cockroach is not dead. It lead the cockroach into a burrow and insert an egg in it that would incubate in the cockroach while the cockroach is still alive. I mean, when I look, I keep saying nature is our teacher.
That is why I say, Journey, that when you say they are doing, it's yes, their intent is to do, but we are accommodating them by way of our leaders.
Yeah.
And we have to become cognizant that we have to start choosing our leaders wisely, not along political lines. We have to finish with this nonsense because we are picking people along political lines and because of popularity, these people feel entitled to just going there and lie to us with impunity.
Quintus, let me finish up by saying this, right? The biblical character that they refer to, this deity that is God, is themselves. It is them, because God is a spirit, as the book claims, and we are all spiritual beings, but the fact that they narrow this one deity and call it God with all the attributes and all the attributes that this biblical God has done, it is them to justify their wickedness that they have done to us. And, you know, we have to move away from that because this was placed in this book to keep us docile, to keep us passive. Fear, false evidence appearing real, and we need to get out of it.
We're not going to get out of it. Look, it's sad to say. We're not going to get out of it. Once you see, look at our young people. They have no self-pride. Young black people are trying their best to change everything about their naturalness. That tells you who is going to get out for what? When you don't even have an identity, you don't care about yourself, you don't care about your history. You prefer to go and buy bleach creams. Our young men prefer to have their I mean, it annoys me. Tell me why. Tell me if it doesn't tell you you're psychologically sick when you dress and intentionally pull your pants back down. You intentionally, aware, pull your pants back down. And you want to tell me that is a form of sickness? We are a sick people. I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break. Is there anything you want to say, Cortense, here?
Nope.
I'm going to be right. I get frustrated because I'm an old man. I will soon be gone. And I have children, grandchildren, generations to come. How do you think we feel knowing what is being laid out in front of us?
Yep.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Caribbean numbers come and play. Just one single dollar, that is the way. You can pick one number or two or three. I win up to 20,000, you see. 3 ways to play, 3 draws a day, 3 ways to win. Hear what we say. Caribbean numbers is the easiest game to play.
The new Caribbean numbers.
So play today.
At any Caribbean lottery agent island-wide.
So play today.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean. Keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put your Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot magnum when me have in a me hand there. Give her a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah. Right now a magnum a for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink responsibly.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
It's just about 28 minutes after the hour of 8, and we're back on Island T. And Quint, it's funny enough that you mentioned the bleaching of our skin, us not being happy with the hair we had. And as I said, if I was born with red hair or you were born with green or blue hair, you wouldn't like it because you would have think you would have been odd. One out. Everybody would have made fun of you. But everything is okay now. And I was looking at the bleaching situation, and I see ancient practices. The Egyptians, the Greeks, and the Romans used natural mixtures to lighten skin as far back as 200 BC. And we know a lot of the folks back then were people of our color. So can we say that it is a cycle, and it is a psychological problem that we...
Well, I don't know at what point that happened, but I know back in the... You see, it depends on what point of history. Because back in the ancient history, when the pharaohs, the original pharaohs were black, that wasn't happening. But then there was a time in our history when Caucasian came in. I can't remember what their names were, but they came in and they actually conquered Egypt. And from that time, people, that is where they started to impose, and I would think that is most likely around that time, because they have always, every time they come, they try to impose their history and try to wipe out your history and all kind. I have to go and answer this.
So where did we get this habit of bleaching or taking the color off of our skin? Because I'm looking here and I'm seeing nothing that said that it started with us. So I would like to know where we have gotten this habit from. They even said back then they used natural things like, honey, olive oil, and honey and olive oil to bleach, and then later toxic substances like lead and mercury. And I mean, people hear about these things all the time. I know this product, I think the developer is resident in the UK, called Whitenicious, where you drink something and you basically change color from inside out.
But hear this. Do some research on the internet and you see where white people are actually, however, I don't know if it's a hoax or whatever, but some company says that they have made melanin in a liquid form, and white people are drinking it, and you hear these white people telling you, it's adding a tone to my skin, I'm getting darker. So you see the conundrum we're in?
What's wrong with our mental...
We're trying, our people who are black are trying to whiten, and those who are white are trying to blacken.
I know the one Caucasian lady that changed to a darkness that that darkness is, it doesn't even look like the model that has the really nice darkness. It looks weird because it doesn't fit her. And I don't know if she can get back to her original color, but us, I see when our color takes the opportunity to rub off what God would have birthed us or given us at birth, when we come back, it's nasty.
Yeah, it messes up.
Oh my gosh.
Because the skin is a part of our breathing process, you know. We breathe through the skin. If you clog up all those pores, we will die, because the skin needs to be able to breathe. Those pores, all of those pores are means of the skin sending out stuff and taking in stuff.
When you hear lead and mercury is in skin bleaching cream, what does that tell you? Don't we know that lead is poisonous in excessive amounts?
Well, yeah.
What are we doing?
I'm going to play a clip, and this clip is from Africa, which shows that the United States went to this particular country and offered to give them in excess of $1 billion something, right? And this is to show you that the U.S. and Europe, we've got to be careful of what they're doing. They say that they're going to come and they realize the world is changing and they're going to negotiate and whatnot. but we have to be careful of what they and how they do things. And unless it is really upfront and we analyze it, we're going to be in a problem. So the U.S. wants to send over $1 billion to this particular country to help with AIDS and certain medical stuff. And they say, in exchange for this, mind you, they say they want to help with this 1 point something billion. But in exchange, they're going to have access to this country's minerals. To me, that isn't really like we're giving you something. Mm-hmm. You understand? That's the first red flag that the people saw. Next thing you know, some people decided, let's research, because the government had already signed off on it, just like our Caribbean governments. They go, they sit down, they sign off on things. But when the people scrutinize it, they realize a clause in this agreement said, all of the information that you got, mind you, they say they're helping you, one, with this 1 point something billion, then they say you're going to access them to your minerals. But yet still they have a clause in there saying all of the information pertaining to the people you give this help to, the America will have access to it. So the people decided, what? No, this will compromise us as a people. Why is it that you want to know everything about our people's, history in terms of their health and so forth? So the people started to protest. The people went down the street, protested. The legal fraternity, when our Caribbean leaders tell us they don't have a choice, they're lying. Because we have legal fraternities throughout the Caribbean. We have bodies who can come up. So the legal fraternity, having researched it, put a pause on it. Say, no, this is not in affair with our Constitution. And when they did that, the U.S. says, okay, we're gonna go with what you say, and we're gonna wait and see how it plays out. But then here's what they do again. They say, but we're gonna hold back the money, right? We're gonna hold back the money until you finish. So you understand, it's a kind of a blackmail in a sense, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to play the clip for you, and I want you to listen to it keenly.
Mm-hmm. In December 2025, the United States signed a massive $1.6 billion health deal with Kenya. But today, that deal sits completely suspended, waiting for Kenya's High Court to reverse data transfers that would have exposed millions of Africans' health records. So ask yourself, if one African nation stands firm and says no to imperialism today, why do Western powers suddenly lose their grip on the continent? The agreement, worth around $1.6 to $2.5 billion over 5 years, promised funding for HIV, TB, malaria, and health system building, but it included provisions allowing sensitive Kenyan health data to flow to U.S. systems. Public outcry exploded over privacy risks, sovereignty, and lack of parliamentary approval. Kenya's High Court acted decisively. Justices issued conservatory orders in December 2025, suspending any data sharing or implementation tied to personal, medical, or epidemiological records.
A Kenyan High Court has put a temporary freeze on the implementation of a $2.5 billion health partnership deal with the U.S. Under the controversial deal, the U.S. would provide $1.6 billion while Kenya would provide the remaining amount. However, that's not where the concern is. The deal reportedly allows the U.S. to access all health data and sensitive medical records of Kenyans. That's why the Consumers Federation of Kenya, COFEC, an independent consumer protection organization, filed a petition at the court in Nairobi. It argues that the deal could also compromise national security. Based on this, Justice Bahati Mwamuye of the High Court issued an order suspending the program until the case is adequately heard and concluded. The 5-year health framework was signed by Kenya's President William Ruto and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, with officials from both countries present. Ruto and Rubio hailed the deal as a positive step towards improving Kenya's health sector, but critics say it makes the East African country vulnerable to U.S. manipulation. Kenya is not the only country that signed such an agreement under Trump's America First global health strategy. Rwanda had signed a similar deal of $228 million with the US, and Uganda became the latest to join with $2.3 billion agreement on Thursday. More countries around the world are expected to sign, including Zambia, which recently signed mutual deals with Washington, reportedly as a prelude. The Trump government says the program is aimed at combating infectious diseases in countries that align with its broader foreign policy goals. But at the same time, the initiative allows Washington greater access to critical mineral resources in those countries. The framework effectively replaces programs under the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, which Trump scrapped, claiming they were not in favor of the U.S. and its citizens.
In February 2026, the court refused to lift that freeze, keeping the entire framework on hold pending a full hearing. The U.S. response speaks volumes. The American embassy in Nairobi confirmed they have suspended proceeding with the pact. Chargé d'Affaires Susan Burns stated publicly that the U.S. will not move forward until the Kenyan court delivers its final ruling, and the deal would need to be reworked accordingly. Existing health programs continue through other channels, but this flagship cooperation framework paused because Kenya said no to terms that threatened its people's data sovereignty.
Meanwhile, the American government will have to wait until a case challenging the legality of the $2.5 billion health cooperation framework signed in December last year is finalized in order to determine how Kenya will benefit from the deal. America's Chargé d'Affaires to Kenya, Susan Burns, speaking at the Nyeri County Referral Hospital on Thursday, as she assessed the impact of her country's PEPFAR program in combating HIV in the county, says the deal will only be implemented to the extent the Kenyan courts allow. The courts pumped the brakes on the implementation of the 5-year framework meant to provide additional funding to the fight against HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, maternal death, among others, as litigants questioned access to sensitive patient data.
It's up to the Kenyans to decide how they want this funding and how it needs to be implemented. Those are discussions that we have to have with the government, but the matter is for the courts at the moment. We have a lot of work to do in the implementation. We could still have those conversations, and we'll continue to have those conversations, of course, respecting any decisions that come out of the courts. So coming to Nyeri is a chance for us to really learn how we can take things that were done here and scale it up. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how we're able to do that. I should say in the interim, it's not that our funding on health has ceased. We're continuing to provide ongoing funding through our CDC, our Center for Disease Control, and through our embassy, our Office of Foreign Assistance. We're continuing to provide the life-saving work we've done here for many, many years in HIV/AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis. And so we'll continue to do that while we work on the implementation of the new program.
Major breaking news. The United States just suspended a $1.6 billion health deal that was signed early December 2025 under Global Health Strategy. This particular deal brought a major controversial tension online, where a lot of Kenyan citizens went ahead and complained that how can the health data of Kenyan citizens be shared in the United States across 10 companies without the consent of Kenyans. And let me tell you, it ended up being halted in court. And as we are speaking, the United States has decided to suspend everything. And the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi has gone ahead and said that the pact should be immediately revoked once the court give full determination. You won't believe this. And let me tell you, it's turning out that Kenyans don't like deals that undermine them. Several nations across the continent of Africa signed this particular deal. And Kenyans realized that this is a major red flag. And that is why they decided to raise their voice up and decided that this cannot work on them.
This is bigger than one deal. For too long, Western aid has come packaged with control, strings that pull at national independence, data as a hidden commodity, and frameworks that keep partners dependent. But when Kenya's judiciary, backed by citizens and leaders like Senator Okia Amtata and groups such as COFEC, drew a red line, the U.S. had no choice but to step back. Reports from local media, international outlets like Reuters and BBC, and even U.S. embassy statements show Washington powerless to impose without Kenyan consent. But the deeper truth is simpler. When Africans stand united on their feet, demanding fair terms and protecting their own data, the old imperial leverage evaporates. No court reversal, no deal. No forced access, no continuation on unequal footing. This moment shames outdated Western approaches while lighting a path for Pan-African strength. One nation's bold no ripples across the continent, reminding everyone that true partnerships require respect, not domination. If more African governments, judiciaries, and citizens follow Kenya's example, demanding sovereignty in every agreement, the power dynamic flips forever. What happens next depends on the court's full decision, expected soon. If the halt stands or forces major revisions with ironclad Kenyan control, it becomes a blueprint for equitable deals. If pressure mounts to reverse, it tests whether Africa will hold the line. Either way, the suspension proves a critical point. United resolve strips away external overreach. This is about dignity, self-determination, and the end of one-sided imperialism. Kenya's High Court didn't just halt a deal. It showed the world what happens when Africans refuse to bend. The U.S. suspension is the proof. Stand firm today, and tomorrow the continent dictates the terms. What will it take for more African nations to rise together and say no to unequal deals?
Now, does this sound familiar? It's the very same thing we have. Recently, we hear the leaders saying, well, I particularly say, a lot of others sign off on this, you know. I'm not the only one. I'm not, and we get, and people say, and this is where sometimes I get very annoyed with Mr. McMahon, because he says, but we don't have a recourse. But look, they have a recourse. You understand? Because you hear what she says, unity. If the African countries unite. And here's another thing too.
They need to involve their people too, Quint, not to cut you off, because we need to help them make the decision, not them just make the decision on behalf of us.
It's the people who did the research and found out what was happening, you know, and then make a big stink about it, and the court took it up. And that the same thing. That is why we have an attorney general. That is why we have attorney generals. We are a sovereign country. You hear what they use? National security. This is a threat to the... Why would you want the information? Why would you want our information in your country? You know what that suggests? It means that along with the aid that you're going to give us, something else is going to be done, and you want to be able to monitor it. You understand? That is the logic. Whatever they're helping you with, they're going to send doctors, they're going to send certain people, and whatever they're going to be doing, unknowing to you, they want to be able to monitor it over time and see whether it is successful or not. Let's be realistic. And you see whose name pops up every time? Mr. Marco Rubio. You understand? Hello, caller.
Good morning, you're live on Island T.
Good morning, guys. How are you guys this morning?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm good. Thanks be to God. No, Quint, you and Cartencio literally said what I was calling him to say. Because imagine, right, these people to make the decision for us. And the leaders in Kenya and in Africa made that decision. What you want to say? It took the people for them to realize the stupid decisions that they make?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. What's the sense? It seems like you put people in position, and they're supposed to be there for the good of the people of the country. But it seems like they do more hurt to the people of the country than good.
Yeah, that is why I said to Journey this morning, I asked him, is it that they are just doing it, or is it that we are accommodating them by way of our leaders?
Exactly, Quint. Because, I mean, they're going to make these foolish decisions. Here in America, we have HIPAA law. What? Africa, they ain't supposed to have HIPAA law? The people, medical thing is not private? And what is so sad is that we all know they're the one who went into Africa and bring the AIDS and the this and the that, and they put it there, and now they want to tell you that we're giving you funding to help you combat it.
Yeah.
After you put it on me?
I tell you, our leaders have got to wake up. And we as a people, I keep saying it over and over, yes, we have reached a level of comfort. But be careful that if you take that for granted, you think the people in Kenya aren't at a certain comfort level also, but they're wise enough and smart enough to scrutinize what their leaders do.
But I think if our leaders would come to us with the transparency that they all promise, and we have conversations just like how we have in our homes, our relationships, our businesses, whatever, and then we come to a informed conclusion, and you go with the majority. But then they might feel that we might be stifling, what do we call it, aid and whatever, because we fight down everything.
But do
if
we
see-
want aid that compromises us in the long run?
Yeah,
That's
for
the
real.
thing.
Yeah.
I have a clip. I have to edit it, but there's a particular leader, and he's up in front of a big African audience, and he's speaking about how the U.S. is harassing him and threatening him and saying, if you don't do this, we're going to do that. If you don't, and he reached the point where he tell them, just go to hell. Because what you're doing, you're not offering me. Here's it. You say you're helping me. What you're giving me to say you're helping me is making it worse for me. So,
but exactly, and it's time now that the Caribbean leaders wise up. Because when you think they're coming to help, they're not really coming to help. They come and they pacify you and they throw you a scrap, and you think, wow. Little do you know, all these aids and stuff, they're coming to use you as guinea pigs. They use your people as guinea pigs.
People go on the internet and type in Marco Rubio's address in Munich. Germany, and listen to that, and tell me if you don't understand when the rest who used to come and say that a particular person said they would want to Rascolongi. When Rascolongi said that, I remember a particular doctor said, "Oh, no," but that is their intent. That is their intent.
Our colonizers coming back as developers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Quinn, get down to our side now with this boat that was blown up that's killing these 3 people in St. Vincent or St. Lucia. No. Where was the outpour of the cry now from the Caribbean leaders?
Well, that's
people are talking in St. Lucia. I don't hear anything else. The Prime Minister says he can't confirm that they're St. Lucians, but their family said it's them.
Exactly. That's what I'm about to say. He may be scared to say it, but the family already said.
Listen, I'm sorry. Can I say I'm sorry for the Prime Minister of St. Lucia? Because he just looks like he has a lot on his shoulders, and I can see it in his eyes. It's like, what's next? What are you going to throw at me next?
Well,
because we saw a fisherman or a boat 5 miles off of Beckway showing the wreckage of the boat that was blown up.
Look, these people.
He took on that job, so he got to pull his big boy pants up, and he got to stand up.
Yeah, but he looks, I feel for him. I empathize with him. Let me say that.
That is why I keep saying that we need a different kind of leadership. These people go in and they seem like, look, right now, what I see is our Caribbean leaders just want quick money.
Well, every small boat that they see that's moving fast is a narco boat. They're not going to investigate. They're just going to keep, and it happened on Friday the 13th too.
They do not care about us. That's what we don't understand.
And
they
I get
do
that,
not care about
you
us.
can investigate. You can see what's on those
But
boats. You have the technology.
But they don't want to investigate Contencio.
But we're just going to kill innocent people. That man has 4 children at home that are never going to see their father again. He has siblings that are never going to see their youngest brother again. The young gentleman, they don't know much. The other young gentleman, they don't know much about him because he's a quiet guy, but a respected guy in his community. What's going to happen? What's going to happen to their offsprings?
That's it, but they're not concerned about that.
They're not concerned.
They have a narrative and a motive to push, and they see a little boat out on the water, and they well know that's our industry. That's people's livelihood.
Exactly.
They know that's people's livelihood, but they don't care.
If they
blow you out the water and say you're trafficking drugs. How can you prove it?
That's the point. If they cared, they would hold you, confiscate the drugs, and then say, "See here."
Yeah.
No, but they have not done that because, again, whether we want to accept it or not, we are just little flies that they can just snuff out.
And all the leaders are so quiet. Where is the uproar?
And here's this too. You remember when St. Kitts and Nevis took a court to the council in England that
Yes.
that case with the boundaries thing, and people were saying, why didn't they take it to the Caribbean Court of Appeal and blah blah blah? Where is those people from the Caribbean Court now who should be standing up to say this is, in terms of the Caribbean, this is illegal, and we are going to take up the people's point on this? Where are they?
They're sleeping, and that is why Pam them had to go to the Privy Council, because remember, the court in the Caribbean tell us they don't fight moral matters; they have no morals.
Oh well. But you see, but you notice the court that dealt with that situation in Africa, you understand it's their legal system that took up that case. But our legal system is just quiet. And I'm glad this happens, because this shows us, as old people say, when the wind blows, you see fowls behind. And the wind is blowing, and we're now seeing that our attorney generals are these stories from journalists, The voice you hear, the female voice, that's a journalist, Yeah?
But do you think it's shying away? Because over the weekend, myself and Biff Mills, well, he shared it with me. I went to look and I saw it. Another newspaper has closed down this time in Guyana. We had the previous one that closed down in Trinidad.
I'm going to come off to somebody else and call it.
Yes,
I won't be.
Yeah.
Even sometimes when journalists ask questions, they don't get the answers. They get a ring around the rosy.
But when
and
you
then
don't
when you
get
do
the
ask
answer,
the questions, they don't like you. You're uninvited from events that you should be invited to. So what are we to do, and how are we to get the answers that the people are looking for?
So what did journalists do in the past? When they ask you a question and you didn't answer it, they publish a story and they put the question that they asked and they put certain other things together so that the people are aware of what is happening. And then the people now start to agitate. That is what the media is. The media, they call it what, the fourth estate or the fifth estate? It is there to bring out the things that governments normally want to hide. All the media wants to do is to bring it to the public and lay it out so the public can say, okay, no, we don't want that, and make an uproar. Then the newspapers wouldn't close down, because the people know they can go to the newspaper and get informed as to what is happening. But when the media doesn't touch the stories, now who gonna buy your newspaper when you're not pushing? You're not doing anything to help us.
Starbuck News was a big thing in Ghana, as well as the Trinidad Express. That was a big thing. I remember.
Big thing pushing what? Look at what is happening in the region. That's what I'm saying. They need to pick the controversial stories that that the governments don't want to come out.
But what if who has a hand in the papers has a hand?
That is the problem. That is the problem, because that's the problem with the world media. A lot of them, you hear CNN, you hear this, you hear, name 5 of them, and they're all owned by one person. You understand?
Yep.
That is the problem.
So we're not being transparent. We're basically suppressing what should be out there.
Good morning, Quinn. Cortens here.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm going to annoy Quinn some more.
Well, I'm accustomed to it by now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yes, right. In a humorous way. So, it was. I think it was Cortens here who mentioned that white people are doing whatever it takes to become darker, and the black people are bleaching the skin.
Yeah.
Maybe the overall strategy is to make everybody look like Hortensia, maybe.
Look like who?
If everybody looks like Hortensia, that's the end of racism. Everybody look alike. Don't you think?
But I don't want to look like everybody. I wasn't born to look like everybody.
Huh?
I wasn't born to look like everybody, and I don't want everybody looking like me.
No, but I know.
He said
I get what he's saying, but how would that world look, though?
Yeah.
It would look very uniform.
Crazy.
And they'd have to find something else to squabble about.
Oh,
not the color of your skin, not skin complexion.
No,
But
boy.
anyway,
Hortensia, I think he changed along because remember he said he was going to annoy me, right?
So he,
But then
no.
instead of
so that does not annoy you?
instead of
Me?
saying this is
No,
instead
annoy-
of saying
no,
instead
annoy
of saying instead of saying this is my take. Instead of saying they want everybody to look like Quinn, he said they want everybody to look like Hortensia because our shade aren't too far from each other, you know what I mean? So he's being very diplomatic. He's being very
She's lighter. She's lighter.
No, when
The usual stuff.
Oh,
but anyway,
boy. Mr. McMahon.
well, he said I annoyed him, right?
Oh,
So,
boy.
and to be quite frank, though, Quinn, I don't see why what I said annoyed you, right? Because all I was saying is that our response should be effective. If you're going against a brick wall, right? You know you're going to lose. If you put your head against and keep doing it, you know you're going to lose. But if you find a way to go around it, that's different.
Well, I'm
You're
always
effective.
saying find ways to go around it. That is what I'm always saying. I might
Yes,
not
but
know
you make it
know the
sound-
way.
You make it sound as if I'm just throwing up my hands and saying, "Well, we can't do anything." And I never ever did say that.
Well, sometimes,
Okay?
sometimes, forgive me, that's the
That's
impression
your
I
interpretation
tend to get,
of-
you know. So
Because okay, even take the clip with Kenya, right? They obviously decided to put their foot down. They draw the line in the sand and say, "No way."
yeah,
Okay? And which, of course, obviously is working in the sense that
That's
they
it.
stop them in the track,
yeah.
right? Okay?
So why can't
But
our
you take-
leaders do some of that?
But for the simple reason, okay, that whereas Kenya is a large country and has some clout, certainly in Africa, right? They weigh that because they're not stupid, you know. They weigh the things that they do. So they weigh that against some 2x4 islands in the Caribbean, okay, trying to stand up to them.
You
Okay?
you can't say some because we're not united. If we were united, then I would take your things. Some individuals in the Caribbean are trying to, on an individual basis. Well, I won't even say they're trying to because tell me who leaders have said no. Tell me who leaders have said in terms of this thing with these refugees and third party or third whatever they call it, refugees. Tell me the leaders who have said no.
I think the Bahamas said no.
Okay, so that's good.
That because that's why they ended up on that list.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I think the Bahamas said no.
Yeah.
Right. And
you know the
thing is,
Bahamas depend heavily on tourism, right?
They do.
And
They absolutely
and they
do.
still have the gall to say no. So there you find a principled stance.
True, and that's true, right? But the fact is, the leaders in the Caribbean, I think, I don't know if, well, certainly in the OECS, I don't know if you notice it, but don't you notice all of them seem to follow the same, although they're not united in the sense of
Yeah.
coming out
Yeah.
with one position against.
They follow the leader. They come and
But
they
they
say
follow-
like the one who says we're the only one. A lot of us sign off on this, you know. Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah.
You know, they follow the leader in that in that sense.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
If the leader is weak, it's gonna they're gonna follow weak
Yeah.
leadership as well. And it's really unfortunate. that
And here's
nobody-
what proves that point profoundly. Remember, we started the citizenship by investment, right? But it was in a position where nobody really knew about it and the money it could make for whatever reason. But when a particular party got in under a particular leader, they changed it. And the Caribbean, the rest of the Caribbean, and the world by extension saw the benefits of this. And you see, everybody followed it. And then after having followed it, somebody decided, okay, I'm going to undercut it, I'm going to cut the price. And you see, everybody followed that too.
Yeah, that's how they operate. I mean, and that's really unfortunate. I mean, we expected that a new, younger brand of leadership would continue the same type of strong, principled leadership of those in the past. But they have disappointed us, right? I mean,
But
they would say, Quinn, they would say that the vast majority of our population want them to do what they're doing, okay, because there's no protest against it or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, and so we are just following what the majority in the country.
And you're right,
said
you
they
know,
want.
because you're right, because it seems to me as if they feel whenever they go to the poll and they get a mandate, it means it's a mandate to do whatever they want.
What they want,
Yeah.
you know, exactly.
But that's
You know,
not what-
and so if they and if they're not wise, if they're not principled, if they're just see dollars and don't see SE,
Yeah.
right? The lead us all down the garden path. I think
But here this,
that's
Mr.
where we are at the
McMahon.
moment.
But here this, Mr. McMahon. If it is that the very same thing that is happening and this thing that I spoke about with the third party refugees and whatever, right? That is the very same thing that is happening here, right? I'm asking, huh?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
And hear this.
Because we haven't got, the leaders haven't given us any details on this thing, you know.
That's it. So here's where I'm going with this. Hear how they pick the people, the countries they go for with that. They pick countries that are in financial problems and that need a way out. You see any similarities with what is happening in the Caribbean region? Since the citizenship by investment has not been bringing the kind of rewards it did before?
Of course.
Okay, so there's a second...
It's their strategy. I mean, it's a strategy that they've developed, and they're using it wherever they could, pressure whatever governments they could, based on things like economics and whether it's visa-free access or whatever.
Okay,
And it's so obvious.
but wait, pause a minute, because that's my second point I made. Here's the third point now, right? If it is that, yes, it's the same thing, this third-party refugee thing, that's one. Number two, they go for countries that are struggling. Here's the other thing. If the communique says that this thing, once you sign off on it, you're paid up front, doesn't it suggest also that it's the same thing that happened here, that those Caribbean leaders who are lying to us, who are telling us that, oh, well, we've completely signed off on that is most likely they are lying to us?
That is also true, because that's what I said. You have to remember. Look at the SSC, for instance. You would think that any body who's in favor, any politician who is in favor of the Destiny Project,
yes,
for instance, right, would pause, bearing in mind what is happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they are still going on
ahead.
it.
Yes, still
And
going
you have
ahead
to ask
on
yourself why.
Yeah, but didn't
I? And the answers to the why, honestly, is not flattering to our leaders.
Long ago, when
we're not going to come straight out and say and call it corruption or anything like that. But you got to ask yourself these kinds of questions. And you know the unfortunate thing, though, Quinn.
What?
Most of our people, the voters, the populace, I don't think they're really interested.
That is the unfortunate thing. That is true.
Know? They're not.
Unlike the people in Kenya who make an uproar, we just don't.
We just passively sit there, and then when you have leaders who don't hear and don't care, what do you expect to happen?
Yeah.
You know, it's really unfortunate, but you know.
But we can only make uproar about things when we know about them. But when we're not in the light and we are in the dark, what can we make uproar of? And when we do make the uproar, we only do it for 9 days and then we are quiet again.
Well, that's a point. That's a point. If we're not going to make uproar about things that we don't know about. And so what do the leaders do? They're not transparent. They keep everything is a secret. They're not open. And so the people going to make decisions on what they know.
Have you listened to Marco Rubio's address in Munich?
Yes. Oh, yes.
And you understand?
I think I mentioned it yesterday, didn't I?
Well, I didn't remember.
Yeah.
But you understand how blatant and bold the man is?
I mean, nobody can listen to that and come out feeling that they're about helping us.
No.
No. They say exactly what they're up to, you know? And if our leaders haven't listened to that speech, and when they go in to their meetings, decide that, hey, we need a response to this because they're not including our countries in the West.
I mean, Mr. McMahon, the man is, he's practically begging Europe to accept them. He's saying, yes, we might be coming from like Latin American countries also, but we are more European. You understand? Yeah. He actually said that.
You're a child of Europe.
Yeah.
You know?
You understand?
That speech was something else.
But that tells you that, remember I told you that the majority of people in Latin America, including Puerto Rico, that's the way they lean?
Yeah.
Now you're hearing it.
And
because
you should tell Greg and Journey to listen to that speech rather than come on with all kind of ancient things and to explain what is happening now.
Yeah, and you notice he used Christianity, and you notice he used Christianity a lot in that also.
Oh yes.
Oh boy.
You know, and culture and culture. You know, that speech was. I mean.
Wow.
Once ago, if that speech was made in before World War II, it would have been considered a speech by
Hitler,
someone who likes fascism. Fascism, you know. It was that. It was so clear cut.
Clear cut.
You know?
I mean, imagine the man used. He actually used the Middle Passage about 2 or 3 times. You know, he said they want us to apologize for the Middle Passage, but the Middle Passage brought us wealth and prosperity. The man is, blatantly in our faces.
And Europe should not feel guilty about,
you understand?
About things like that.
And we hear the rumor he's coming down here. And as you said, our leaders should be, our leaders, boy, I tell you.
What you gonna do?
Cotton said, did you hear the speech?
With Marco Rubio?
Yeah.
No, I didn't get a chance to, but it's in my things to listen.
Yeah, different perspective.
That should give anybody who is that should give anyone of brown or darker persuasion the awareness that we need to wake up.
Or anybody who was colonized before.
Yes.
They absolutely need to.
This is a wake up call.
That is
and did you see the short interview with the man afterward where he said, like, I'm so glad that you made that statement that we're one and that we need to, and I'm saying to myself.
But didn't you see the applause in the speech?
That's it. Numerous applauses. Yeah.
Yes, a lot of applause.
And that is
so you could bet your life Europe pretty much, a lot of Europe pretty much agrees with them.
Yes, that is why I keep saying there's no difference. Oh boy, look, we as a people, we better wake up. I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break.
All right then.
Okay, and we'll be back.
You found the sound, 98.9 FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hosfords. Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hosfords.
It's just about 18 minutes after the hour of 9, and we are back on Island T. And I saw one of our commenters left something on the wall. He said, I am black, beautiful, proud. I must be respected. I must be protected. I am somebody, Reverend Jesse Jackson. I know we lost him as well recently. 84. May his soul rest in peace. And may the work and the lives and the movements that he impacted continue on the road to see the vision through. But I wish everybody thought the same, that their black is beautiful, that they're proud of being black. As I said, when I look at many bleaching documentaries, I see the ladies in Jamaica would say that when your color is turn up, and I will use their lingo and quote, you get the better jobs, you're more respected, you're more revered, and that to me show that our minds are still in the mires of slavery.
But are you more respected? That's the thing. You're not more respected because you have to change from who you are
Well,
to
as
get
I'm
that
saying,
kind of respect.
yeah. So the color that you now possess, you're seen as an individual that can be accepted.
Yeah, it's every hello caller.
Caller, good morning. You're live
Yeah,
on
good
INT.
morning. Yeah, good morning to you guys, man. Yeah, Trump and Marco Rubio both are really out of order. And I'm just waiting to see who in the world are going to stand up to them. And I hope Russia doesn't really leave Cuba hanging either, because I've seen an article where I think Russia sent some jets over there to evacuate their citizens, their tourist citizens especially, who was being stranded there in Cuba amidst the fuel blockade. And our leaders in the Caribbean, they have totally failed the people, and still failing. They're operating like they don't really care about the citizens of the Caribbean, the OECS and the CARICOM states. Us. They got to get caught up and up to speed with the geopolitics that's going on in the world today. They are still miles and miles behind. Look at that leader from St. Lucia, addressing that boat or boats that was blown up, suspected of narco terrorists. That's their citizens over there in St. Vincent and in the Windward Islands. That was just on February 13th. But when that boat was struck, it was said that another boat might have been hit the same day. And I seen a clip where the St. Lucia Prime Minister spoke on that. He didn't, seems like he's really that care. I mean, the man doesn't seem like he's proactive at all. Like he don't have the answers.
No, because he says he doesn't know
what's going on.
He says he doesn't know. He wasn't informed. He heard.
Like he doesn't know what's going on.
But if your citizens are saying, if your citizens, if the family are saying, how would you not know? That sounds like a couple.
The people are crying out.
This is what politicians do, and it is just utter stupidity. I am the premier of St. Kitts, just using a hypothetical, right? I'm the premier of St. Kitts. Hortensia's husband goes out on a boat, right? He gets killed. Then I hear, oh, one of your citizens get killed, right? And I hear Hortensia crying and saying, it is my husband. And then I'm going to say, I don't know.
Me personally, Quint.
You don't want in Trinidad to. The people know
we are
the
wondering,
feds, everything on there, and they're not.
Hey, Quint, can I make some comments here, please?
Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, man. We are wondering if Marco Rubio is coming. But I think he was in the Caribbean last year. Somebody could really, correct me or bring out the information. I can't remember if he was at the CARICOM Heads. He might have been at that CARICOM Heads in Jamaica last year. And me personally, the Caribbean leaders, man, they probably should have set him up. They should have really invited him. And when he comes, they drop him like a bomb. But in unison, we have issues to talk about to the United States Secretary of State. If Trump is sending him down, or I would be more on the proactive side. Invite him down. And when he comes down, we get a chance to blast him.
Look, it's easy.
Like
Look, Burl. Sometimes I get a bit annoyed when people stay on the radio and they just say, oh, we blast him. Let's say you were the leader, like these other leaders. Things are easier said than done, because I say our leaders need to stand up. Yes, I often say that. But I often also say they need to unite so that whenever they stand up, they do it in unison. I don't expect them to go and say, and I disagree with you that they should invite him. Do not invite the man. I mean, especially when you listen to his speech in Germany. I would not invite him anywhere. I already know where he stands. Now, if he comes, we can't stop him because he's a big up there. He can just take a jet and jump anywhere he wants in the world. If he comes, he comes. But if he comes and I'm going to have a heads of government meeting soon, I'm going to say to him, with all due respect, you can't be a part of this. You understand?
Okay, so let me ask the question, Quinn. Amidst the bombings of our fishermen boats in the Caribbean, those MOUs that our so-called leaders may have signed, and don't forget the trafficking of guns that's coming into our communities, that's flowing north to south. You see these three big ideas and topics here. Let me just ask the question: how would we be able to address them with the United States if we don't have a meeting with them?
But sometimes we shoot ourselves in our foot, because whenever you're going to negotiate, you never negotiate using your weak point. They're using guns and drugs transshipment to bomb our people out of the water. I'm not going to tell you to speak to anything about drugs and shipment. I'm going to say, if you find that they are pushing this, get them and bring the evidence to us. That's what I'm going to say.
Let me charge them if they.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say like you. Well, you know, we have a problem with guns in our region. That's what they're using. They're say, oh, see, that's what I told you. That's why we're bombing them. You understand what I'm saying? You never negotiate. That's the art to negotiation is you don't negotiate. We all have weak points, you know. You do not negotiate. Bring your weak points into a negotiation.
But I'm pointing to that guns was coming from that's manufactured in the USA, that's ending up in our communities.
Yeah, but they don't care about that.
Remember
they don't
that
care
case
about
that
that.
Mexico got against them? What became of that case?
I am saying, Burl, that is not an argument to bring up right now. Our argument right now is, okay, so you say that this is going back and forth in our region, bring the evidence. That is what I'm saying.
But anyway, man, two things I will say lastly is we put the pressure on our leaders. I don't know how we're going to get that done. And whenever that CARICOM heads meeting come up, we should be in the street outside displaying our disgust and our dissatisfaction with our CARICOM leaders. And I'll leave it there, man. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thank you for your contribution.
This is where good advice comes into play. From the very beginning, when I saw the AI produce picture with this destiny thing, I said, this is an act of trying to pull the wool over our eyes. I said it from the very beginning. I said from the very beginning, if I were our leaders, I would stay away from it. I also said if I were the leader of the federal government, I would not touch this. Who listens? Who listens? So if there is an advisor or there are any advisors in the Prime Minister and the Premier's cabinet who said to them, do not go down this road, and you see where it's going now, if I were those advisors, I would say, you see what happens when you don't listen? The old people say, who can hear us do what?
Feel.
Okay. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Good morning, Catencio. I'm well. Well, you're right. The way to go is the CARICOM second. We got to challenge them and challenge our leaders because they're weak, all of them. And let me tell you something more. We here in St. Kitts Nevis, if we don't understand where we're going and the course we're chanting, crack up, smoke, we pipe. We better put up about 2 tree we had, a fig tree, otherwise dog William dog in the city. Joseph is right, Josephine is right. Dog William dog in the city, there's weak. You're gonna hear Eric Williams and Manley and Thiago them going meeting with these people. What's your queen? I listen Marco Rubio on Sunday. I listen. And the men, boy, these people talking on these people. Poor people talk, get to talk, they're talking on us, they feel we more. But we don't fight, you know. And I will fight when the CARICOM meeting come. I will fight. Jam down alone. Have a good morning.
Thank you, Jam down. for your contribution.
What was that you were showing me just a while ago?
A stamp. I saw a news article. It says, it's from the St. Kitts Nevis Times. It says, quietly printed, loudly questioned, why were PM Drew and Premier Brantley placed on the new $100 stamp without telling the nation?
Oh.
Is that something that has to be disclosed?
I don't know.
See, no press conference. It says, a storm of questions is brewing across St. Kitts and Nevis following the quiet circulation of a new $100 commemorative stamp featuring Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew and Nevis Premier Mark Brantley and the Taiwanese ambassador, all without any formal national announcement. No press conference, no parliamentary statement, no official explanation to the people. Instead, the discovery appears to have been made by observant citizens who noticed the high-value stamp now bearing the faces of the sitting federal and Nevis Island leaders. The central question echoing across the Federation is simple. Why was the country not informed? And it goes on to ask, what is the purpose? If the stamp commemorates diplomatic relations between St. Kitts and Nevis and Taiwan, a relationship that has delivered scholarships, infrastructural support, agricultural cooperation, and development assistance, then many are asking, why does it prominently feature current political office holders instead of the historical architect of that diplomatic partnership? It was Sir Kennedy Simmons, the Federation's first prime minister, who formally established diplomatic relations with the Republic of China, Taiwan, in 1983. That decision shaped decades of cooperation and development benefits for the nation. If these issues honored that diplomatic milestone, critics argue that history, not incumbency, should have guided its imagery.
But I'm not going to go down that road because it's
I don't know
apparently
how
that
it goes.
apparently that individual is more political. But I think that with the prime minister and the what is Mark again? The
Premier.
The prime minister, the premier, on a stamp together speaks volume. I think that would say that there are. It might be that we're seeing them with the Taiwanese leader, but I think that the fact
Ambassador.
that you're ambassador, but the fact that you see them that they're together might speak. We might be able to read between the lines in terms of where the prime minister might come out on the SSZ, but that is just my speculation. To me, it implies that they are in harmony. Okay. So we're
But
going
it
to take
couldn't
a
be
bit
that
of
they're
a-
just representing the two islands because they're the leaders.
But the fact that you're bold enough to come and show yourselves together, it sends a statement. There are subliminal statements that are sent. I could be reading it wrong, but that's the implication, that's the suggestion that I get, that you are working together as a federal unison, and so I don't expect, this is my prediction, I don't expect that the Prime Minister will go other than Mark has gone by way of the SSZ.
Okay.
I'm making that statement. I could be dead wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I am trying to read between the lines here. When you don't get answers and nobody tells you anything, you're rife for speculation. Let's take that commercial break.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Caribbean numbers come and play. Just one single dollar, that is the way. You can pick one number or two or three. I win up to 20,000, you see. 3 ways to play, 3 draws a day, 3 ways to win. Hear what we say. Caribbean numbers is the easiest game to play.
The new Caribbean numbers.
So play today.
At any Caribbean lottery agent island-wide.
So play today.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put your Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. He are a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look watch for your quick time check. Yeah, yeah. Right now a magnum a for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
And we are back on Island T. And with us this morning, we have Farmer, I know him by the name Humble. So I'm going to introduce him as Farmer Humble. So Farmer Humble, welcome to the studios. Well, welcome back to the studios of Island T and to Farm Report today. How are you doing, sir? It's nice having you and seeing you. Well, I would say the first time for the new year, because I haven't seen you since the new year started.
Yes, greetings one and all. As for Tanzania, yes, I'm back here. I'm quite fine actually, apart from some agricultural issues, sometimes that could cause stress, but apart from that, I'm okay, excellent.
Okay,
really.
well, I don't want you to be stressed. So do you have a particular topic you're going to speak on today?
The topic is vast. I don't want to get too wide and vast because
Okay.
it is vast, but I'll really be speaking about the management of agriculture and some different
Move a little
topics.
closer, please.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'll be
No, not the mic. Pull back the mic where it was.
Okay.
You push it too far now. I tell you, you come closer.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah. So we said, okay, so I think I was saying just a little topics and what really happening and what's not happening. So when you're ready, we could just dive right into it.
Yeah, we can go ahead. You can start.
Okay. I've been seeing a lot of watching a lot of videos happening online in terms of particularly the last time I think Mr. Duggins came here, the minister, and I saw the commotion, I saw what was taking place, and some people take agriculture very serious, such as myself, because it's my livelihood. And when I hear people saying things or doing things that does not benefit or sink the sector, then I'm going to be affected because, again, it's my livelihood. And not just apart from livelihood, like you in some kind of doing something. The agriculture sector could affect the whole island worldwide, like wide. Like, let's say a boat don't come. Let's say we have a little war. Can we feed ourselves? That is the main goal. So it's not just about my issue and having issues on my farm from the mismanagement or cannot get this and cannot get that. But on a whole, what are we really doing? But that's a topic to discuss, but that's always my concern. Can we feed ourselves as an island, naming Liamega, fertile soil? Are we making the best potential out of that said soil?
Yes.
So those are questions to be asked because I think we have a lot of room for agriculture improvement in terms of planting trees, feed ourselves, and be a bit more one with the farmers them, respect the farmers them. And when I say respect, I'm speaking about issues that I've seen happen in terms of the 25 by 25. Now, here is it, you have a big project, maybe CARICOM-wise, everybody trying to feed their country or step up the ball game in terms of feeding themselves sustainable, but yet I find myself as one of the stakeholders them, well, at least I think I am, and having probably most animals in terms of cows on the island, at least I had, and I did not see anyone approach me. I did not see the minister visit my farm, ask me, how could I help you? Where are you falling short? Because I'm assuming that if something were to happen, at least, you have, a cow farm with X amount of cow, and by adding him to the other pools, then we could actually, have a good months out of feeding or whatever. But that was not the case. I did not see the PS or the 10 PS. And when I say PS, for the listeners, I don't want anybody to get twisted. I am not speaking about Mr. Rendell Thompson, who is just acquired or just brought into the agri sector to patch up whatever mess is there. I'm speaking about Mr. Miguel Fleming. He's the PS that, was there, and he is the one that was there under the mismanagement. And I have issues, and that is why I'm here today.
Okay. Have you tried contacting them and asking them why you were visited? Have you tried contacting them and letting them know that you're here and you're willing to work with them in that sense?
Well, in my observation, as the Minister and the PS of Agriculture, and you have a farmer who is a big-time stakeholder, I don't think I should have to call you for you to recognize that your job is agriculture. I mean, agriculture is vast in terms of the sector, the carnival sector, the fisheries, but in agriculture particularly, you should not, ignore the big stakeholders. You should know where they be, you should have a plan, you should reach out to them. And I've seen many media caption with some, taking pictures on farm, but why would you not visit a stakeholder who supply you with animals, some part in time, back and forth? That's unprecedented. The same thing for the PS. The PS have not visited my farm up until lately, a few months ago, when my farm was underwater, saying underwater as in things gone bad, as we would say. And when he reached there, there's nothing he could do for me. The issue is when he reached there, I'm having paddock problems, whereas he know that because I've been trying to get brush cut from him for months on in prior to when he reached on my farm, months on in, if not close to a year, just over a year, and that was not able to be done. He came one Saturday, so he devoted all the Saturdays them, and then he just dwindled down, nothing. Now, prior months, just fast forward time, I put down $3,000 after me and he was discussing the PS Miguel Fleming. Carry up the $3,000, put it down on the agri desk, and then the lady gave me back the money and telling me the tractor is done, they can't do any harrowing, whatever problem is. Now, why would the PS send me up? They're going to pay. So it means that he's not doing his job. Because if me having a dialogue and a conversation and you don't know that the tractor is not going out, you're not in tune with the sector. Meaning that you have people doing your job, but you're not checking up on them.
How weary, how fed up, how disgusted are you with the sector, and what do you think you as a stakeholder, as you mentioned, can do to help it to get better? Because as you rightfully said, if the boats don't come one of these days, and we see a lot of things happening when it comes to the geopolitical scene, etc., how are we going to feed ourselves?
Well, that's a question to be asked in terms of everybody, and that's a question to be asked by the Minister of Agriculture, and not just only the Minister of Agriculture, but I always strongly feel that the Prime Minister should be involved in agriculture. It's not his sector, it's not his portfolio. However, you are the leader of the country, so if the country can't feed itself, what have the leader have got to say to that? I'm not just speaking about Joe, I'm speaking about any leader before, any leader after, any leader to come. The leader, the Prime Minister, must have interest or intake in agriculture. He must ask the Minister what he's doing.
Yeah, I agree with you, because food security is national security.
Yes, quite so.
But let me ask you this. I gather that you are a large luminary farmer?
Yes, quite so.
Large luminary. Could you give me an idea of, you say you're a major stakeholder, so could you give me an idea when your farm was up and things were going good, about how much heads of animals you had?
Well, if anybody knows me, everybody knows me as humble. Some people knows me as, regular work son.
Okay, if you say regular work son, I have an idea right there, because I'm from Connery, so I know regular work.
Okay, and that is why I mentioned that. So sometimes the vast listeners could get an idea who's speaking or what took place. Yeah. But currently, from the records on my farm, the amount of animals are probably roughly about 200, 185 to 200.
Yeah. And that's a lot of cattle.
Yeah, I say roughly because let's say we might sell 6 bulls or whatever. We would drop significantly back and forth too, because we sell the young bulls them as fast as we could. Now, just about June, July, we ordered some medicine, not ordered, but took the medicine from the agriculture department and then paid off for them shortly. And we inject the animals them and administer them. So let's say late September, we watch the animals them, trying to see what would happen to them after we injected them, and and maybe by October, we try to see if we could get some more medicine, because we realized maybe some of them was a bit not healing.
Recovering
there
properly.
Was a couple new cases, like ones we just show up and you say, okay, these need treatment.
Yes.
But upon turning to the agri sector, the department for the most important thing which you had, which is antibiotics.
Yes.
They don't have it.
They don't have it.
And that was a major.
That's going to be major because
loss.
I know the disease that the cattle get, and if they don't get that, you're going to lose. You're going to lose.
Yeah, it's dermatophilosis, and it came by the amblyoma ticks them biting the cattle, and it's really so within 2 weeks to a month, if you don't get that LA, you start to really have significant effect on the animal and the skin. And the following month after that, it's going to start to deteriorate. So for them to not have antibiotics from, let's say, October, November, December, I had a tremendous loss.
Yeah.
So in terms of the minister, I made an appointment to see him, call his office, email-wise. I didn't get any response. That was all up in the year, maybe the year before. So I made another one. I didn't get any response. But on the second one, the secretary told me that...
No, don't touch the mic.
The secretary told me that... well, Samuel himself, he called me prior. In between after they took calls for the meeting. And he called me out of the blue. But funny enough, when he called me, he was calling me asking for cows. Because, he have a meat plant. So he need cows for his meat plant. But what I'm saying is that you have a meat plant, you need animals, but yet you're not dialoguing with the stakeholders. You have a 25 by 25 agenda. You did not dialogue with the stakeholders. That's why I said to Tensia, I'm assuming I'm a stakeholders, because if the minister is not coming out, if the PS is not coming out, if the director is not coming out, yet you have a big program, and I'm supposed to be part of the stakeholders.
And I'll take it further too, because let's say I'm using a hypothetical here. I'm the Minister of Agriculture, and also as a Minister of Agriculture, I have a meat processing thing. I would want to make sure I know how your cattle are going, because I know that's where I'm going to lean to get.
It's beneficial for all of us.
So I'm not supposed to be calling you to find out if I can get meat and not understand that you're losing your livestock because you can't get the supplies. It doesn't add up. It's not adding up.
Thank you for that, because that's the same thing I was saying. So when you call me now, it's one line simultaneously if you know what's happening to me, and if you know what's happening at the abattoir, because at that particular time when the phone rang in that situation time particularly, the abattoir was on the waters in out of operation. It's Baptiste who came from overseas and wanted to sue the government by way of approaching them and saying, well, he losing customers, he losing his business. Why? Simply because there was mismanagement. Mismanagement as in a sudden call, a sudden shutdown. No, you give people 2 weeks notice or more before you shut down the abattoir, before you shut down a business, so you could have leverage. So I know I have X amount of customers, okay, they're shutting down 2 weeks, okay, let me notify my customers, let me send in 4 more animals and pile up, well, at least I could, But upon going to the abattoir, I met the vet there, I just drop off animal, and then he's telling me next Thursday, the abattoir shutting down. I said, what do you mean by that? That's a short notice. That's no notice at all. And because of that, that caused significant wave of backlash for a lot of people, including myself. And where was the minister? Where was the PS? Where was the proper secretary to make that holy call to let us know what is going on? Where do you get the audacity to just make a sudden call that would affect the stakeholders tremendously, and not just the stakeholders, but people who are buying from the stakeholders?
We find that is a tendency we hear all over across the board.
Now, as a farmer, and there's something in that scenario also bothering me, because before the abattoir was adjusted, we could have probably around 15, 16 cattle. Now you spend $300,000, that's what I've heard, $300,000 on an abattoir, just some railing, a flooring, and a roof. And you have thought that the abattoir now would hold quadruple the amount, 4 lanes, so it can actually send in 20 cattle without cattle being outside or having an issue. Now, $300,000 on a shoot, and then you're telling me that we can't bring no more than 10, 12 cattle? Whilst the farm is being expanded, people actually getting more animals. But as with no antibiotics, I really don't know how the animals them are situated, because I've lost tremendously. And I've got a list here, so I could speak.
And I could understand your frustration also. But it's good to hear, because we've been wondering, because we hear some of the farmers who come here and they gripe, and then we hear from the ministry or whatever that, oh, well, there are only some, and this is, so it's good as much as are being affected, come and hear your voice. And I'm telling you, from the time, that is why I wanted to know what kind of farming you were in, and to hear it and know it's cattle. When I was young, my mother had cattle, you understand? We had maybe the second most, over there in Connery, and looking after cattle, and we didn't have these kind of diseases, eh? Yeah. So that makes it harder for you now. But looking after cattle is hard work. To get grazing land, and now you had to move all the way round to Half Moon Bay to get grazing and all that kind of stuff. So grazing again would be a problem for you.
Yeah, you have to have love for agriculture, and if you have love for agriculture, the least the minister, the PSM, or the ministry could do is support that love, support those people in it, because it's not everybody willing to do it. You take the sun, take the sweat.
It's hard.
Like I say, you have to have a love for it. Yeah. It's not a bed of roses.
It's hard work.
But at the same time, at least it give you some, significant releases. Like you could get natural exercise, you could have time to grow yourself.
Yeah.
So there's advantage to it.
You think the agriculture sector can become a cooperative where it's just the farmers that run the entire thing and not just lean, or I don't want to say depend, but rely on the ministry?
It seems to me that some of the farmers want to head that way, but it seems to me, let me stress that, that the obstacle is coming from the government itself. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but if the farmers can handle it, because the farmers have excellent ideas. I hear them all the time. Humble himself just gave some ideas there. Yeah. Why not let them run the sector and see how it goes? And I think, from what I've been hearing, I think they're going to do a good job. And then if it goes womp, 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 which I doubt, then you could say, you need us to lean on. But allow them to do their thing. Let's see how it goes. Because, as we say, the only country that technically can feed itself is Guyana. What are the rest of us doing? We're dependent on the containers and everything else. And as you see, sometimes when they come, they're not the best. Yeah. So let the farmers do it. And then you see what happens. And then maybe you can work with them, get back in partnership with them, and let us allow the agriculture sector in the Federation to thrive. Because even over there, the Premier is complaining that things needs to be done in agriculture.
Yeah. Well, back to the farmer. So with all of the stress that you've been having, what are your plans for the future? Do you feel hope? Do you feel despondent? Do you feel that there's a way? And if there's a way that the system can help, at least since you're here in that chair, say the ways that you feel that they can help. We don't know if it will be forthcoming, but express yourself.
Well, when it comes to agriculture, in terms of helping, I think, like I said again, the Prime Minister would have to be on board, whoever that Prime Minister is. I think there have to be legislation, because let's face it, there's some kind of pull or some kind of rift between, let's say, Rams and importing food, and the government tell them don't import food because if you have this amount on the border. Now, that's a tough issue and a tight tugging, because the farmers need to excel, Rams need to do business. But I think there could be mutual grounds. Yeah. If there's proper inputs and proper management with the stakeholders, and like just doing it by yourself, like the 25 by 25, and not collaborating with the real stakeholders, I think that things will go much more better, because with the stakeholders, we could say, and now the government would provide necessary information. We are going the best this, we are going the best that, where's the most rainfall, what type of soil it is, what could grow here, how much farmer willing to produce this. And then you should know your farmers, because you should know, okay, Kenzie is a carrot farmer. She could produce X amount. She good at it. Charles could produce X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Approach her, see what she could do. Approach Humble, see what Humble could do. So it's always a collaboration. But the ministry got to be serious. And when I see what's happening in agriculture right now, presently, I don't think that the ministers or the powers that be is really serious about agriculture. It cannot be. Because if we was to take with the boats and the pontoon, we basically have nothing. So you have to have a balance. And when I speak about Rams, you must balance, because we cannot grow certain things to give the students or other people who is here, who is not from here. So that's where Rams come in. Yeah. But there's the local part of it, and the government now should be seen making legislation or interacting to see how much of those local products you could get off of the ground via whether you send them out, whether you cut a deal with Rams and say, well, okay, we have a 30% here to work with, so the rest 70% you could import, but we need you to work with this, you know? And it's just collaboration and a little legislation and things should good. You know, the farmers have to stay up their part and see if they could manage the 30%. And if it is well managed, probably the following year you can manage a 40%.
Yeah.
And, you know, things would go good, but it needs collaboration. It needs seriousness from both parties and both sides and consistency, else you're not going anywhere.
Well, it's good to hear from you because unless we hear from you, we don't really know what's going on. And it's good to hear from your perspective because you are meat farmer, you could say.
I love both of them. I love livestock and I love meat farming. I'm actually in meat farming because, you know, he inherited from my father. But if I had my own way, I'd probably do
How is your father, by the way? Is he still around?
No, he's deceased. Sorry.
Okay, because, I didn't know. Yeah. My condolences. When did he pass? Long time ago?
Yeah, quite a while now. We're going for like 2 years.
Okay, well, that isn't so long ago.
No.
Well, I knew him growing up, eh?
Yeah, I figured out from your age distance.
I know him growing up. So this is the first I'm actually seeing you as one of his sons. So good to see you, you know, good to see one of his offsprings.
Respect to that. Respect to that.
Yeah. So any parting words before we close off?
Or anything you want to mention that you think needs to get out there, that needs to be heard by the minister or whomever is listening, because they do listen.
Well,
especially by way of getting the kind of chemicals you need for your for
animals,
animals upkeep and health and so forth.
Well, partly to the minister, I think the minister should take agriculture, take people more seriously. And when I said that, I was looking at the interview that he had here with Tensia, and Tensia was speaking from a point of where the farmers them having issues, speaking out their feelings, and he's like, who is a joke. Yeah, but from the way he's saying it is like Tensia supposed to follow up on that and and to me that is a lack of seriousness in terms of seeing where people feelings be. You know, you don't play with that. That is seriousness.
I felt so too. That is why I did not want to entertain going.
No, the minister need to be more serious with livestock. I mean, not livestock, but people livelihood, because my livelihood is at the curb right now. I've lost tremendous amount of animals, and before I go, let me just pull the record just to make sure that, show you that I'm not really messing around. So right now I don't know my livelihood going, and that's hard because I have trouble making ends to meet right now. Okay. So let me give you a quick update. So total of 43 calves of July 2025 received tags. So I have 45 calves in like July. 27 of them received tags. There were 16 they were tagless because maybe the tags them was an issue. So majority of those calves, they died, and that was a new bull acquired. Okay. So everything after the bull genes gone. Wow. 46 cows lost. 12 bulls in the process. 12 bulls get treated from the same disease, but they didn't make it. So those
bulls are very important too, because that's where you get your main meat source from.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why I said the livelihood is done right now. So I have trouble filling that gap where I normally fill the gap. And, that's just mismanagement. So if it wasn't for this management and you're coming around checking the stakeholders, making sure, and because one of the reasons why I came here is antibiotics. I'm not just to yap them out here, and this is the issue. How could you not have antibiotics in the agriculture department for 3 months on in? And from what I'm hearing, it seems like whatever came in recently in January, so from October or late September to January without antibiotics, that's a lot of mess, that's a lot of losses. There's actually people out there who lost animals and they're afraid to talk because it's not everybody willing to come and sit on the radio station or take interaction. And when you meet on somebody like the minister who like to play political game, you might feel intimidated and you might just shut down. Like for example, I went to his office, I think on January 8th for a meeting. After he sent him an email later, if I don't receive the antibiotics on such or such a time, I would incur more losses compared to what I've already lost. So suddenly receive a call, so I went to your office. But I'm going to your office, I have some ailments, so I wasn't the best. And my mind wasn't functioning well, so I tried to speak to him. I thought it was a one-on-one. However, he had the new PS, Mr. Rendell, and he also had the vet. And he's saying, this is his team. But I'm trying to tell him I've lost animals. I didn't hear him say anything about a compensation or how could he help you. Nonetheless, I tried to go through the motion. So I think I was speaking on some issue in terms of assistance from the agriculture department. But the vibes he gave me back is like, we are not there to help farmers in a way like you're leaning upon us. I said, no, it's not leniency.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to tell...
It's because of you not having this stuff that I'm in this position.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to tell the gentleman, the bloke, the minister, how could your ministry be out of antibiotics?
Yeah.
That's like you're going up the hospital and the hospital is out of antibiotics for 2 weeks. You know the amount of damage that would cause.
And you see, people don't understand the frustration of how you will be feeling because this is big loss, you know.
Yeah.
This is big loss.
I have to watch my animals them die every day. I could open my phone, I could show you X amount of animals dying. I have a list. I keep record of my animals them. And to watch the animals them dying, dropping down, walking sick, dead with flies on them, in the water hole, out the water hole. You know how depressive that could be?
And then even after they die, you still have a cost to get rid of those bodies. And man, I understand. I feel for you.
Now you see, because before coming this radio station, my incentive was to pull a press conference because I really want to express myself. And to me, the only way the government does here, the said minister, is media. They would wish you come to a meeting, they would wish you argue and make noise. But the media is where you express yourself and let people know what's going on because that's the only way you could get
yeah. So we have to make sure that...
Look, Cotton, so you could look at his face and see the frustration.
Yeah, I feel it over here. He's right across from me. I'm an empath, so I feel what he's going through.
Trust me, I'm trying to suppress it because the last so much animals and you don't really know where you're going now. You don't know where the dollar coming. So right now, I'm kind of looking extra, things to do to make money where I could rely on this, because...
Well, it's good to hear this, and it's good the audience can see you and they can feel you and they can understand that there's something wrong with the story that we're hearing.
Yep.
There's something wrong with
the agriculture
story
sector needs significant remanagement. I don't really have confidence in the past PSD or whatever. A lot of stuff happened. I'm hearing I'm hearing a lot of alleged this and alleged that. Now, if all of these alleged things is true, then perhaps that is part of the mismanagement and mismanagement as in why would the budget for a whole year done in June and July? You turn to them, there's no wire. And worst of all, again, there's no antibiotics, no budget there. So when the PS came at me farm, Mr. Miguel, recently or whenever he came just before, whatever happened, which I don't know and I've not been told, the public have not been given an answer. We're just seeing, our kind of alleged story. He can't do nothing for me. He is a farmer in digest, like your animals dying, your paddock overrun to some degree. And he's been in contact with you because he's been interacting with you, but not back checking and calling. So if me and the PS, Mr. Miguel, interacted 100 times, I call him 95 times. He only called back 5 times because say, okay, this come and okay, man get this. But that's about it. That is how you cheat. That is how you cheat your big time stakeholders. And the PS was on my farm before he take office when the government changed. No, the PS had a pump in his office for me for maybe a year and something or 2 years. No, since I had to go to the office and make. So you have a pump for me, but I'm here heading water every day continuously till present, but you had a pump for me. So now he's out of office for whatever alleged reason, the pump can't be fine. And so when I was to Samuel's office, he's supposed to find the pump and they're supposed to get back to me, but I haven't received a phone call as yet, so.
Well, audience out there, read between the lines and come to your own conclusion. At least the farmer has put his case down.
And has spoken.
Yeah, has put his case down. So keep the faith, though. Don't give up.
Don't give up,
You've come this far, and sometimes it's when your back is against the wall and you feel like this is it, and you tough it through a little bit longer, it pays out in the end. So just keep your fingers crossed and hope for the best. And we're going to be hoping for the best with you also. You take care.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Caribbean numbers come and play. Just one single dollar, that is the way. You can pick one number or 2 or 3. I win up to 20,000, you see. 3 ways to play, 3 draws a day, 3 ways to win. Hear what we say. Caribbean numbers is the easiest game to play.
The new Caribbean numbers.
So play today.
At any Caribbean lottery agent
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put a Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. Give her a sip and she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah, yeah. Right now a Magnum for your beat. Enjoy yourself.